here is going to be the virtual class activities based on the video recordings and virtual meetings. So this is the guide that you're going to be using to complete the virtual class activities, which are questions addressed in the video recordings I've posted for you. When you press on this file, this is how it's going to look like for you. This is showing your video recording title. So chapter 18, part 1, let's say, and those are the questions addressed in this video recording. So what you're gonna need to do is to download this file and start filling out by hand according to the discussions in the video recording. This is for me to make sure that you are watching the video recordings. So you either print it out and write down the answers by your hand, or you're gonna simply be editing the PDF file by typing in your responses. It's not something hard to complete because simply I give you the answers during those video recordings. So you're not gonna be looking up the answers anywhere other than watching the video recording to know the exact answers. Sometimes it's going to be clear, obvious, so you can look up the answers from your book, from the PowerPoint presentations. Some other times it won't be that clear, so you're going to be in need to definitely watch the video recording in order for you to figure out the good answers. This is one part of it. So this is the guide for the virtual questions that are addressed in the video recordings. This won't make sense until you watch the video recordings, because there will be no separate session where I will be addressing those questions. They are integrated within the discussion. So you need to be actively listening and watching those video recordings in order for you to retrieve and write down the answers. This is our first part. The second part is going to be questions that I will be addressing here with you on weekly basis during our virtual meetings. And you're going to simply be adding those questions that you're going to be receiving during the virtual meetings towards the end of the file. So you add other pages to complete the questions I will be addressing to you during the weekly meetings. All right, this is gonna be worth 100 points towards your final course grade, as I will get to in a second. But this is the very first thing that you see here on the Canvas course shell. It's called virtual class activities. I have put in between brackets based on video recordings and virtual meetings for you to not simply think that you should be only watching the video recordings. You should watch the video recordings and attend those live meetings that we do have scheduled on Saturday at 9 o'clock. The next thing that you're going to see on the homepage on the Canvas course shell is going to be the Visible Body courseware invitation link. Visible Body courseware is our online platforms that we're going to be using for completing the lab assignments. So we do have lab assignments, a total of 4 here for this course is going to be 7 lab assignments divided into 4 units. So when you first register for Visible Body, you need to press the invitation link on the home page. If you have used Visible Body before, you might have been dropped from an AP1 course shell And you should now register for AP2 course shell. So in order for you to access it, you need to register using this link. Where to get the access? So you either purchased it from the bookstore, so they sent you an activation code that you can enter, or you simply can go ahead and purchase it online if you didn't. So when you press this link, you open it up in a new window. If this is your first time to use courseware, you're gonna need to press sign up. When you press sign up, you need to enter your email address, and please make sure you are using your college email address, not a personal email address. If you've used the personal email address, go on the inside in the profile, in your profile, and change it to your student email address. Then create a password. Then put your first and last name as they appear in the college documents. Then agree to the user agreement and create your account. Once you create your account, it will tell you, all right, so you need to purchase it, or you do have the activation code that you bought from the bookstore, so you enter it or you purchase it online. So this is how to register for the Visible Body courseware. If you did already have access to Visible Body, it should still be working for you. So you press instead sign in, and when you sign in, you enter your username and password. And this is how it should look like when you open it. So you have Unit 1 assignments, you have Unit 2 assignments, you have Unit 3, and Unit 4. You will notice that you have a bunch of assignments on here, only the ones that I say in the title, that I've stated in the title that this is a graded assignment. Those are the ones that will be graded towards your Visible Body courseware assignment grade. So those are the ones only that will be considered towards your grade. Those are other helpful tools for you to study. Those are videos, video animations, 3D models, stuff like this that are helpful tools for you to study the material covered in this unit. And they are not gonna be graded, and they are worth no points towards your Visible Body lab assignments grade. The ones that state graded in the title, those are the ones worth, each one worth a different number of points. So this is worth 20 points, this is worth 20 points. This one is worth 30 points. This one is worth 20 points, this is 20. This is 20, this is 20. So most of them are worth 20, except for this one is worth 30 points towards your Visible Body lab assignments grade. Does this make sense so far? Does this make sense so far? Please let me know in the chatting section. All right, so this is for Visible Body. This is for Visible Body. And this is the second thing that you're gonna see on the home page on campus. What can I see next? You have 4 modules. You have 4 modules. Don't worry about the name on here that state weeks. So this doesn't apply. The week number doesn't apply for you because you are registered in a B12 class. So what you're gonna see under each of the modules, you're gonna see a set of video recordings covering the chapters of that module. We do have a total of 4 modules. For module 1, we're covering the cardiovascular system. Which is gonna be 2 chapters, the heart and blood vessels. For module 2, we are covering the urinary system. And this is gonna be chapters covering the urinary system. And the second chapter is covering the body fluids. For module 3, this is gonna cover the respiratory system, which is a chapter by itself. Blood and hematology. And the third chapter covered in this module is gonna be the immunity. For module 4, and this is our last module, we're gonna be covering the digestive system, metabolism, and the reproduction system. Reproductive system on here is gonna be our last chapter. So if you notice on here, the course is divided into 4 modules. The first module has 2 chapters. Second module has 2 chapters that we're gonna be covering. Third module has 3 chapters. And module 4 has also 3 chapters. So we've got a total of 10 chapters that we are gonna be covering in this course. When you check your Canvas course shell, you're gonna see the 4 modules as you see it on here. What is provided under each module? You have the set of video recordings that I have posted for you on YouTube. Those are the links that will direct you to the specific video recording. Those are the 2 chapters covered in module 1, chapter 18 and chapter 19. You do have next the PowerPoint presentations that I will be using here with you during our meetings, and I'm using in those video recordings. So you can press the PowerPoint presentation, you can download the PowerPoint file from Canvas on here. If you want to print them out to take notes while you're watching the video recordings, this is something that I would highly recommend. Next is going to be diagrams related to those 2 chapters, which are essentially important for us for the lab portion of that module. Because our lab exams, as we're going to discuss in a minute, are going to be mainly diagram-based questions. Next, you're gonna see the Q banks related to those chapters. And the Q banks on here are sets of questions from the publisher of the textbook that are addressing the most important concepts in those chapters. You're gonna see different types of questions, matching, multiple choice questions, diagram questions, even essay questions. Those are practice tools that I'm providing to you for you to check your knowledge and understanding of the concepts before you take the actual quizzes or exams. This is for you to complete by yourself after watching the video recordings. And if you kept scrolling all the way down, you will find the key answer for those questions that has been provided to you. And this is again not a test. This is not an assignment. This is for you to practice and check your knowledge before you take the actual exam. So let's say, for example, how you're gonna be studying for this course, because I've received multiple questions asking about that. So I start first by watching the video recordings as scheduled. After that, I would be taking my notes, reading through the PowerPoint presentations that was covered in the video recording. If I do have questions, this is when you can address it. So when we meet each week, get your questions that you do have. Give me any concept that was difficult for you or any concept that wasn't clear enough in the video recordings, and I will be repeating this concept, this topic at the beginning of our meetings. After you complete a chapter, so let's say I completed chapter 18 now, I feel confident about my knowledge related to chapter 18. Now it's time to test my knowledge. So I start answering the chapter 18 Q banks, and I will go to visible body and complete the related lab assignment. After doing that, I will be able to figure out, what concepts do I have a good grasp of and which concepts do I still need to be working on because I didn't get or I don't fully understand. All right, so this is here the Q banks that have been provided to you. In-class lab exams and in-class lecture exams also have to be removed for you because this doesn't apply to you. The diagrams for the heart, it's not highlighted. Yes, Brandy, because all the markings on those diagrams are gonna be important for the lab exam. Compared to the blood vessels, they are highlighted. As you're gonna see in the video recordings, I will tell you that only the highlighted ones are the ones required for you to know for the live exam. But for the heart, as I also address in the video recordings, that this you need to know all the different structures for the heart diagrams. Right, so let me remove here. So the in-class things do not apply for you here. So this is pretty much everything that I've provided for your module. First video recordings, then the PowerPoint presentations. Then you do have the diagram for the lab. Then you have the Q banks for the chapters. And this is pretty much everything in terms of material that I'm providing for you on Canvas under the different modules. This will apply for module 2. So you have first the video recordings, then the PowerPoint presentations, then the Q banks, then here. All right, so video recordings, PowerPoint presentations, and embedded in those PowerPoint presentations, you're gonna have the lab diagrams, and finally the Q banks. So this will apply for all the 4 modules. Is this clear so far? Any questions? Yes, you need to know, Romana, everything for the heart diagrams. Some stuff will be less important, but essentially everything is required. Is everything clear for everyone? All right. So what you can see here under each module, you have another module that is called module assigned activities. And those are the activities assigned through Canvas pertaining this specific module. So you're gonna have module 1 assigned activities. You have 2 chapters covered in this module, chapter 18, chapter 19, lecture exam 1, and the proctored lab exam. So for the proctored lab exam, when you try to access it directly through Canvas, it would ask you for an access code here. So let me show you here. For example, the proctored syllabus quiz is available for you to complete now. So you see, because it is proctored, it will ask you for an access code, but I will not be giving you an access code to complete it directly through Canvas. This is simply because it is proctored. So in order for you to access the proctored exams, which are the lab exams, as we're gonna see in a second, you need to access them using smarter proctoring. Actually, I can't show it for you how it looks like, but please press smarter proctoring. While you're taking your proctored exams, please deal with them as if you're taking the exam in class. So don't have anyone else in the room, don't have any documents, anything that you have in terms of material. You sit on a desk, you're not sleeping on your bed while you're taking the exam. Nothing is allowed on the proctored exams, so you shouldn't have access to any kind of material. If I find out that any person was cheating on the proctored exam, he is going to be automatically failing the course without getting back to you. All right, so you're going to end up having an F on your report. All right. So let's check the syllabus on here. What is provided on the syllabus? You can access the syllabus either from the posted announcement, so that I've posted earlier this week. So you can download a copy of the syllabus on here. And also in the same announcement, you have your tentative course schedule. What I've tried to do here in the tentative course schedule is to put everything that you need along with reminders for your exams in one place. So you don't have to be moving between pages. So if you do have this tentative schedule, you do have almost 95% of all the essential documents, video recordings, and dates, due dates for your exams, all in one place. And it's divided into weeks. So what I state here under each weekly agenda is the recommended video recordings that you need to be watching. And then any helpful study tool like PowerPoint presentations or QBanks related to this chapter. I also ask you to complete stuff like, for example, here for week 1, I would ask you to register for the visible body course where I provide you direct link for the registration. It is the same one that you've seen on the homepage on Canvas. So essentially, following the instruction each week in the weekly agendas will allow you to have a map for this course. And it's arranged in a timely manner. So this is what you need to be doing in week 1. This is what you need to be doing in week 2. This is what you're going to need to be doing in week 3 and so forth. Also, if you notice in this column, if you do have any assigned activity, it's going to be stating it in here when it's going to be due. So this is when it is due to complete, but I put them as a reminder whenever it is recommended for you to get them completed. So it is recommended for you to complete the visible body assignment here in week 2, but it won't be due until week 3. All right, so all this is going to be due on Monday, February 21st, which are the module 1 assigned activities. This includes the chapter quizzes, the lab exam, and the lecture exam. We'll talk about the details of the exams and quizzes in a sec. All right, but this is simply your guide for you to navigate your course. Video recordings, then any files that you need to be checking out, then any tasks that you should be completing on that week after you watch the video recording and study the material. Again, where can you find this? You will find it in the announcement that was posted earlier this week. Also, you have another copy embedded in your syllabus. So when you open your syllabus, so just to be clear, we are in week 2. So week 2 starts on Monday. So week 2, so the weeks are gonna be starting all on Mondays. So if you see on here, week 1 starting Monday, January 31st, and week 2 starts February 7th. So we are towards the end of week 1. All right. So any questions? Any questions so far? Anything that is not clear? Or So week 2, let's say, what you should be doing starting this Monday. Watch the video recordings that are stated in here. Check out the diagrams. Complete the assignments. This is, again, for what you should be doing starting this Monday, February 7th. What you should be doing this week is watch the video recordings here that I'm recommending, complete, check out those files, complete the registration for Visible Body, review the syllabus. All right, this is what you should be doing it for week 1. Again, I will not be able to monitor whether you're doing it or not. That's why I say this is the recommended tasks. So I don't use those tasks are due on week 1 because I won't be able to check what you've done actually in week 1. All right. So when I say here, complete the assignment or complete the quiz, this doesn't mean it's due on that week. This means it is best for you to complete it at this point in the course. It's not yet due, but it is recommended for you to complete at this point. After you watch, let's say, the video recordings covering chapter 18, I will recommend you to go ahead and complete the Visible Body Lab assignments related to chapter 18, although it is not due yet. But this is the pattern if you want to successfully complete your course, to not be stressed before your exams and when the assignments are due. You need to be following this, this weekly agenda. All right. So stating an assignment that is going to be due here to complete in here doesn't mean that it is due yet. It is due when it is due. All right. But this is my recommended pattern for you to successfully complete the course. All right. Questions? All right. So jumping to, so this keeps going for each week, all the video recordings. You can download this on your phone. You will be able to access on your tablet. You can access the files through Google Drive, so you don't have to go through campus. So this single file has 95% of all the materials that you're gonna need, or I would say 80% of the materials that you need, because if you are on your phone, you won't be able to open the Visible Body Lab assignments. All right, so what are the materials that we gonna need? We need a textbook, and the textbook doesn't have to be any specific edition. Any edition will gonna work fine for us. Either it's the 9th edition, 10th edition, or 11th edition. This is your reference book. If I'm assigning anything from the textbook, I will not be assigning specific pages, but instead I will be assigning a topic. So you're just gonna be looking up the topic in whatever edition of the textbooks that you've got. The other thing is going to be Visible Body. And again, if you did already purchase an access to Visible Body from a prior semester, your username and password should be working fine for us. But again, remember, you need to be registering using the provided link. which is here, Visible Body Courseware invitation link. You need to press on this specific link because it will not automatically pop in your account the new course. So if you've registered for AP1, AP2 doesn't magically pop up in your account. You need to press this invitation link, and when you press on the invitation link, this will take you to either sign up or sign in, as we've discussed before. If you have an account, sign in. If you don't have an account, sign up. Can you try press on it again, Sharon? And let me know if you still have this problem. If you still have this problem, please wait for me to discuss it with you at the end of the meeting today. For you to share the screen for me to see what's going on your side. All right, so this is the second thing that we need for this class. We will not be doing dissections, so you're not going to be required to purchase hearts to dissect or kidneys. This is going to be, we're going to be relying mainly on the 3D models here in Visible Body Courseware for you to have an imagination of the 3D structure of those specific organs, as well as other lab work. All right, so let's jump to the course grade breakdown. All right, so our course is going to be graded out of 1,000 points. First, we do have the proctored syllabus quiz. And the proctored syllabus quiz is going to be worth 10 points towards your final course grade. As it is proctored, it needs to be completed through smarter proctoring. You don't need to schedule time for you to complete the proctored exams. You need just to log in whenever you decide to complete the test and go ahead and get it completed. Please again deal with any proctored exam as if you are taking this exam in class. Metabolism live handout. This is a self-explained assignment that you're gonna find under module 4. It's related to the metabolism chapter. This is a self-guided assignment. It will ask you to check out your calorie intake per day, the energy consumption, give yourself recommendations in terms of your diet or activity and so forth. So this is a self-guided assignment called the Metabolism Lab handout, and you're gonna see this as a file that you will download from Canvas and complete. And towards the end of the semester, you're gonna need to upload the completed document to Canvas. All right, so you're gonna need to upload it to the specific assignment on Canvas. This Metabolism Lab handout assignment is worth 40 points towards your final course grade. Next is going to be a virtual class activity. Those are, again, two parts. The first part is going to be by answering the virtual class questions that have been addressed in the posted video recordings. And this is one thing, one part of it. The other part is by answering the addressed questions in the live meetings. All right. Where to complete this? You need to complete them in a single file. I highly recommend you to use it as a PDF file. You can keep working in a Word document, and then towards the end of the semester, you save it as PDF, and you're gonna upload it at the end of the semester to the Canvas assignment called Virtual Class Activities assignment. And the Virtual Class Activities assignment is going to be worth 100 points towards your course grade. Any questions so far? For the posted video recording questions, I've posted a guide for you. Check it on the homepage on Canvas. Any question? Any question? All right. Moving on to our visible body courseware lab assignments. And the visible body courseware lab assignments are going to be conducted through visible body. After you complete your registration. And the only ones that are going to be towards your grade are the ones that I state in the title that they are graded, and I do state how many points each one is worth. Visible body courseware lab assignments are available to complete from day one of the semester until the end of the semester. All right, so they are available to complete from day one until the end of the semester, and you have unlimited attempts to complete those assignments. Although I have given a due date for them, this is a recommended due date for you to benefit from the assignment toward preparing for your exams. What is a common mistake here that you have to avoid? Many people decide, all right, so it will be closing at the end of the semester, so let's wait and wait and wait until the end of the semester, until the very last week to complete them. Don't wait until the last minute to get them completed, because this is a lot of assignments. That you can't complete at the end. All right, it will take you days to complete those assignments. And why did I give unlimited attempts? Because in my opinion, this is a study tool, not a test for you. So I need you to be looking up the answer, finding the answer it, get it wrong once, try it another time, get it right this time, and this is how you actually learn. By repetition, figuring out what's wrong, try to improve it, get it better. This is how you improve your mastery of the material. That's why you have unlimited attempts to get those completed. All right. Any questions so far? So visible body lab assignments, again, are available for you to complete throughout the semester. You don't have to start now, because the metabolism lab handout here. So, Romana is asking about the metabolism lab handout assignment. You don't have to start it now, because in the first weeks, we don't discuss any metabolism concepts. All right, it will fit better when you complete it towards the end of the semester, when we get to the metabolism chapter. As you see here, metabolism chapter is part of module 4. All right, but you can definitely start working on it if you want. But I don't see it the best thing to be done at this point. All right, so again, this is for visible body lab assignments. And as we've seen, some of the assignments are worth 20 points, some others are worth 30 points. So it varies per assignment. How do I check my visible body grade? I completed the assignment and it's not popping up on Canvas. It will not pop up automatically on Canvas. I, at the end of the semester, will be manually calculating the grade and will be transferring it to Canvas. So it's not gonna be integrated with Canvas, where once you complete the assignment, the grade pops up in your Canvas course. All right, so I manually at the end of the semester will be transferring the grade for the visible body lab assignments, and your lab assignments are worth 150 points towards your final course grade. Moving on to the chapter quizzes, as we've seen, we do have 4 modules. For each module, you have set of visible body lab assignments that you need to complete and set of quizzes and exams. First, we do have the chapter quizzes. Chapter quizzes, as we've seen through those 4 modules, we're covering 10 chapters. Each of them is graded out of 16 points. So this is representing 160 points towards your final course grade. The chapter quizzes are available from day 1 until the module due date. Or I'm sorry, after the module due date by 1 week. So let's say, for example, module 1 is going to be due on February 21st. So completing the chapter quizzes anytime before the due date, since they are all available from the beginning of the semester, anytime before the due date, you need to complete it before the due date for you to get a full grade for the quiz. If you've completed the chapter quiz after the due date, because it's still going to be open and you will still have access to it for 1 week after its due date, you're going to be losing 10% of your grade for each "24-hour delay in the submission." So if you decided to complete it just before it closes, this means after 7.5 days, almost 8 days, this means that the maximum grade that you can get is 20% of the grade. Because each day, and we have 7.5 days between when it's due and when it closes. So for each day, I take off 10% of the grade. So what you will end up having, if you've completed just before it closes, is 20%. This won't apply for those who have emergency situations. If you do have an emergency and provided documentation that proves that you did have an emergency that prevented you from taking the exam anytime during the availability period before the due date, you can complete it in this buffer zone after the due date before it closes with no penalty. This is only in case of emergency, and I am the person who will determine, according to my opinion, whether this was an emergency or not. All right, is this clear? Is this clear here? All right, so this is for the chapter quizzes. You will see that in the chapter quizzes, each of the chapter quizzes is formed of 34 questions. If you complete chapter 18 or 19, or the lecture exam 1 or lecture exam 2, or lab exam 1, I'm sorry, after the 21st, you lose 10% of the grade for each day. All right, anything on that module, because it's due on the 21st, but it will close on the 28th. This is for module 1, and you're gonna see that this is a pattern for all modules. You have a due date and you have 1 week, except for module 4. Module 4, you do have few days after the due date, because we don't have a week after the due date before the end of the semester. So for module 4, we have a smaller buffer zone. All right, so for each of the quizzes, of the chapter quizzes, you're gonna have 34 questions, all multiple choice questions, similar to the Q banks, but they don't have to be exactly like the ones on the Q banks. Each one is graded out of half point, is worth half point. So this gives you a total of 17 points towards each of the quizzes. And this means that you can get up to 1 extra credit point on each of those quizzes. So it's worth 16, but it's graded out of 17. So at the end of the semester, you will see that your score is not actually graded out of 1,000. It's grading out of 1,100, let's say. So this simply means that you've got extra credit beyond this 1,000 points. So what's considered as part of the 1,000 is a 16, but here is 17. So this adds up at the end of the semester as extra points. All right. Any question related to the chapter quizzes? All right, so moving on to the lecture exams. Lecture exams, like the chapter quizzes, yes, you do have 2 attempts for the chapter quizzes. You have 2 attempts for the chapter quizzes. The highest is the one that will be going towards your grade. And please make sure you complete the 2 attempts before the due date. All right, so moving on to the lecture exams. And again, we do have 4 modules. And for each module, you do have 1 lecture exam. So we've got 4 of them. Each one is graded out of 60 points. This will make a total of 240 points towards your final course grade. Lecture exams are going to be similar in structure to the chapter quizzes. They are multiple choice question based exams. Those are like the chapter quizzes. They are not proctored. And you're going to see 64 questions on each of those exams. Each one is graded out of 1 point. This gives you a total of 64 points towards each of those lecture exams. You have only one attempt to complete the lecture exam. Graded out of 64 and worth 60, this means you've got a chance to earn 4 extra credit points towards each of those 4 lecture exams. Again, you will not feel the extra credit points until the end of the semester when everything is added up together. I will explain more about this in a second. What is the availability of the lecture exams? Lecture exams, this is day 1 here. This is my due date. And this is 1 week after the due date. The lecture exams are available 1 week before the module due date. In order for you to get a full grade for the lecture exam, you need to complete it within the availability time, which is 1 week until the due date. And like what we've seen in the chapter quizzes, it will still gonna be open 1 week after the assigned due date. But again, you lose 10% for each 24-hour delay in the submission after the due date. This will be for those who might have an emergency during the availability period that prevented them provided documentation that were accepted. They would be exempt from this penalty if they completed it within 1 week after the due date. Same availability gonna be also for our lab exams. They will still be available 1 week prior to the module due date. They will close 1 week after the due date. You lose 10% of the grade for each 24-hour delay after in the submission after the due date. But for the lab exams, those are proctored. So you need to access them and complete them through smarter proctoring. And you do have only 1 attempt to complete them. Something to note that all the due dates are scheduled to be on Mondays. And please note that they are due at noon, not at midnight. Please note that the due date for the modules is going to be at noon and not at midnight. So it's 11:59 a.m., not p.m. All right. It's due at 11:59 a.m., not p.m. And you see here, Proctored Syllabus Quiz is due on February 7. Module 1 assigned activities. All the assigned activities related to Module 1, either is a proctored lab exam, lecture exam, and chapter quizzes. This is a recommendation for the lab assignment through Visible Body. You know that it's going to be still available till the end of the semester. But you see on here, all those are due on February 21st at noon. If you're not going to be able to complete it at noon, so you simply need to get it completed the day before. So you need to complete it on the Sunday prior to the due date. All right. So you'll notice I put all the activities related to the module into one due date. So for you to not have to memorize and track many due dates. This doesn't mean that you should be waiting until the due date to complete the activities. So we need to complete them before the due date, not on the due date. All right, so for the proctored lab exams, those are going to be mainly diagram based questions. And for each of the 4 proctored exams, we do have one essay question that I will be stating in the video recordings, and we're going to be reviewing in our weekly meetings as well.